Well, hello there, everybody. How are you all doing on this here Friday? Very mellow day, man. Just gotta say, I dig the vibe. Thank you for tuning in and turning on. And with that, I'll just speak favor over us all, and nothing missing, nothing broken, right? Yeah. So, interesting day in the world as we continue this. Hmm, destination of desolation. I think that's where we're headed. The destination of desolation. Hell of a ride. Indeed. And but we had yesterday. Yeah, was that just goddess Abina? Bernadette, we love you. This is, I mean, that was one of the better um, chats, I have to say. I really enjoyed that. And I noticed many of y'all yesterday tuned in with Mr. Ryder Lee over there, Raised by Giants, with Ryan Gable. Phenomenal discussion. I mean, these are like mind shares back in the days of when the internet wasn't defined. There were no rules on it, no restriction, no censorship. Um, wasn't any commerce either because it didn't exist. I was fortunate to be one of the very first um venture-backed companies that we helped pioneer that B2B space. So anyway, I digress. But um, you could actually, you know, speak your mind. Can't do that today. Uh-uh. And when you get into deep conversations like the one yesterday, it's where a lot of Gnosis is brought forth. And back in those days, we would have these conferences and some of the most phenomenal discussions. It wasn't like a 45-minute thing. It was many times like a TED Talk. Um, and you'd have these entrepreneurial minds, creators, um, that were seen into the ethereal realm, and it was phenomenal. I was very fortunate to have a role in that, and it was fun. That's all I got to say. Not like today. I mean, the technology that we use here in YouTube, Google acquired that. Um, and it was the goal for everyone to figure out how could you get enough bandwidth, because in the early days it was about compressing information. You had just small little areas and you had to compress the data, and then you had to make, in many cases, sacrifice um, parts of data in order to still do it. When we invented pay at the table for the United States, we were the company that made the breakthrough of taking a credit card terminal and actually making it Wi-Fi. More importantly, we could do it and we could integrate to any enterprise level, Aloha, micro, I can't even remember the other company, Micros. And we were enterprise level thinware, far out. But anyway, um, wonderful, wonderful show over there. Thank you, Ryder, again. And we're going to get Ryder and Ryan on over here because that was just, like I said, it was a really great conversation. So anyway, Elderberry, Rick, how you doing? Lost in Space, Gilbert, how you doing, brother? Hello, Lauren. How are you, Mr. Floyd? Nina, how are you doing? Lucky Stone is in the room. Good to see you as well. Bonnie. Hey, Sherry, good to see you. Um, Thank you, Sherry. She answered the question. I appreciate it. So how many in the chat right now? Because I don't want to assume anything. Because, if you break down the word assume as it makes an ass out of you and me. But how many Loretta. Uh, well, you got to have fun with that, right? Being a part of the modern day dystopia. So, how many of you consider yourself a an occultist? I mean, if you got to be labeled by something, would you say if you were doing the man on the street interview and I walked up to you and I said, Annie, what would you consider yourself? Are you an occultist or not? Hey, people, I was like, hell no. But actually, they are. Um, Yesterday's conversation with Ryder and Ryan was one that brings out how little we really do know. We think we know, but the vast majority of people, their minds don't stop. They don't stop to think. Their minds have to be continually entertained, distracted. And regrettably, our species is losing that cognitive ability to actually think. And then to think about thinking. The title of this, is that we question everything. Everything that they say, and they are what we would call the overlords of this system, because it's very clear that something is going on. Consider this. Our lives. Linda Espinoza, how are you? I love you, darling. Bonnie says, I'm an alchemist. I like that as well. Morgan, good to see you. Rick, hello. Our lives are ruled and governed, as much as we rebel about that on the inside, because it's offensive. The thought that we are being ruled, we're being governed by particularly a mindset that may be completely opposite of what we are in our core understanding. And those that rule and govern over us, they have proven themselves to lie. They are, by Webster's dictionary, liars. Liars hide truth. They are master deceivers. They are manipulators. And the key point to a liar is to do at all cost to obliterate the truth. Liars, and look how many in government, the current administration is. I mean, if there was, I think it's the Washington Post who does the Pinocchio Awards, and this current administration has outdid all the rest. But it doesn't matter which side of the coin you look at. They lie too. And so those lies impact us because it divides us. Some will believe the lie to be truth. Others will reject the lie and say it's not the truth. The truth being ambiguous here as to exactly who is saying truth is, what truth is. And what we have is that there's this strangeness. They will proclaim a way to be, but yet in secret, they are not. Those are liars. And when you have a system that is built and predicated upon the foundation of a lie, you see, the thing about it is when you have a foundation of a lie, you don't care about the truth. And our species, regrettably, we are the species with amnesia. We don't know where we come from. We don't know why we're here. Everything that we've come up in our modern philosophy is what we came up with. I mean, Fucking God came down in a chariot and said, all right, I'm going to tell you how it is. That hasn't happened. It all uses witchcraft, channeling, diviners, but they will say, no, it is not, which is a lie. So when a society and a culture is predicated, built on a lie, the truth becomes irrelevant. Doesn't matter what the truth is. It begins to permeate so much of the fabric of our existence that the truth is irrelevant. Because even if the truth was brought out and proclaimed to the world, 99% of the world would reject it as a lie. Because we're used to a lie. We're used to questioning, but let me just say, the questioning comes in, that's where it's a second part. Because it takes a long time to become aware of just how deep this goes, this lie. Now, it is the questioners of the world that are the ones that we realize it's a lie. We get that. But what makes us so damn sure that what we're reading, what we're contemplating, is truth or even close to truth? Quite frankly, I don't know what truth is. Black's dictionary states truth is the highest reality. When you in the past have hired large law firms, you find out how, the initiates are brought into law firms. It's the occult, baby. It's an occult. It's every freaking way. But the thing about it is, one of the provinces of law is to understand most people lie, even under oath, because they don't know what the oath means anyway. And if all you've been subjected to is lies, deceptions, manipulations, it would be abnormal for you to want to seek truth, but much more would to be the apprehend the truth. And I think it's the core problem to what we have in the world today. You have one side proclaiming righteousness, that they somehow have God on their side. Which God? Then you have the other side who says, no, they're goddamn liars. Because we're only the goddamn people that have the goddamn truth. We've got the God on our side. And if you don't believe us, we're going to send you to hell. The other side said, oh, no, no, no. We're going to fight and resist that other side because they serve a false God. We have the one true God. And then you intermix this into politics where they're all goddamn liars. It's amazing, example. Have to bring it out. You got this character, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson. He was a Bible thumper going around, from the state of Louisiana. Man, he was quoting Bible scripture here, proclaiming that he was this man of God and a man of integrity and a man of honesty. Turns out he's just another goddamn liar. But that's the way the system works. Now, imagine, you see, we've only had this one side that has other fractals to it, proclaiming they're the ones that actually champion that side. And in this case, you will see the argument now, which is, it's inevitable. You're going to have, eventually the politics collapse and you're going to have a religious war. Excuse me, that's exactly what you're going to have. It's being set up for that way. You have one party saying, well, if the other party gets in, democracy and freedom is gone. But that's a lie. It's when you see political ads, and we're going to get into that crazy season because it's absolutely wag the dog time. All political ads are liars. They lie. No one tells the truth. Can't do that because the truth is no one knows what the truth is. So imagine this. Lucky says the best Bible thumpers use a hollow Bible. Yeah. Shawshank Redemption, right? When Andy had the little rock knife, it was in the Bible. No one questions the Bible. Yeah, we do. And that's the problem. When you start questioning that, you're going, I thought that was the truth. That's what they told me. They taught me. But it ain't the truth. Which then leads you to say, well, if that side isn't the truth, well, then maybe the truth is the side they're saying was the liars. Maybe the liars are the truth sayers. Maybe I ought to go over there and kind of get into what they're thinking and you know, etc. The problem is that when you become these questioners, they're going to kick you out, give you the left foot of fellowship right out the door. They'll be saying, "Don't let the door hit you in the ass as you're walking out." So imagine this. I was thinking this morning because I was going to go in a different direction, and I said, "No, this is interesting." So what if all witches, all occultists, warlocks, sorcerers, wizards, diviners, Satanists, Luciferians. How about if we got together and organized ourselves? We organized ourselves as a political party. Now, of course, you'd have to work out some of the things, and people being people, you know, you would have a lot of diverse points of view, but I think the occult allows us that ability to look at alternative means. Today, the whole thing in how you work a deal is that there's always compromise, give and take, but not when you have one mindset that runs roughshod over everybody else. But what if we did that? Had our own party, our own candidates. We would bring in the gods, the goddesses. We would then begin to make homage. Sacrifice if you have. Everybody sacrifices to something. And what if we did that? A completely different way of viewing the current system that has been the patriarchal, male-dominant thinking, with primarily a religion that has failed. I mean, how many thousands of years do you need to get something right? Or more importantly, the question may be, how many thousands of years do you need to wake up and realize something's wrong? That mindset doesn't work. I mean, quite frankly, if you can't get it right within the first couple hundred years, then it's a failure. You are insane to continue to pursue that way of thinking. Because no matter what you do, no matter what political party, no matter what religion, whatever it is, whatever culture is, it's always going to be wrong. Never going to be gotten right. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, these individuals, they say that they're believers in a religion, but yet they don't manifest it. Their fruits, their actions betray them. And I often wonder, do they really think about this? Eventually, every person, every human being, every life in this realm on this planet dies. It is, as Ryan said yesterday, I just love that conversation. It is this, if there is a perfection, it is that from the dead, the living live. And that if you live, your obligation is to die, to return back that which you used, which was not yours to begin with. You were merely loaned it, speaking of your body, and that the price of admission is your death, because your death will be the seeds to that yet of new life. It's what it is. And I mean, it's not a complicated ideology. It's in fact, I think it's as natural as it comes. Now, the other part of that equation is, well, when the silver cord is cut, then what happens? I mean, do these people fear a devil? Do they fear their Jesus, the ones they all proclaim they serve? I mean, do they stop and think that I'm lying to my Jesus? I'm lying to my Jesus, who I said saved me from sin, but yet I'm very sinful in the very fact that I'm doing it deliberately, which is basically stabbing Jesus in the back. I mean, do they really question? I mean, because if you follow the mindset, there's judgment. You're going to be held accountable for every word and action you have done. And if it fails to meet the mark, uh-oh, you're going to hell. Ain't that special? But anyway, and I think to myself, so do they think about this? Have they sold their soul to a God that they worship above the God they proclaim that they serve? There's clearly worship going on here. I mean, if you're an individual who is drawn towards power, you want power. Power comes in many different ways. You can have power over a small something or group, or you could seek power to have the ultimate power over the very life of a group, a nation, a country. A price is paid no matter what. Always is. And the thing that I have learned in my life, in my 25,000 plus days on this planet, is that it never turns out the way you think. Never. No. Which brings you to this, back to the thing. So what's going on in these men and women's head? Or are they so delusional? Have they sold their souls, their very existence, to an ideology, and it doesn't matter? The end justifies the means. Because, folks, that's what we're living in. Even the occult, the metaphysical, the esoteric, is influenced by it, has its fingerprints on it. But I still believe that this alternative, as we were talking with Goddess Abena yesterday, we haven't given her a chance. Our species, I think, did at one time as a culture. But we've seen now this male dominance, which is a lie. How it's influenced our species for some, depending on what your point of view is, 5, 6, 8,000 years. And it's never worked out well for us. Never. Certainly nothing sustainable. And it always resorts back to desolation, war, death, pestilence, disease, oppression, tyranny. I mean, just go right down the list. We always end up back in this spot. Well, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to figure out, well, something is wrong. Isn't that what Einstein said? The definition of insanity is someone who conducts the same experiment over and over again, expecting a different result. No matter what we do, it still ends up in the crapper. You would think a species would say, well, maybe we ought to give the one that other side blotted out an opportunity. I mean, the paradigm doesn't work. Look at our current state of politics here in the United States. We have a Congress and an administration who is spending money it's deliberately heading towards collapse. And once they implement the final trap, that is the digital currency, which is already here. It's how banking works. Banks don't physically go over and say, hey, here's my billion and I need to, leverage that another 5 billion. No. It's all done by digital. But this is where it's heading. But you got to ask yourself, why are these men and women doing this? You think they really serve Jesus Christ? Do you think they serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? I'm just saying that's what people say, well, the United States is a Christian nation founded upon Christian principles. Our Constitution was predicated upon the 10 Commandments. I don't believe that, but that's what they say. I happen to believe that there were probably the quiet ones in that room that were more of the occult leaning. Well, we know Jefferson was. Washington. Could be questioned Franklin as well. They were occultists. But what if the other side took over and we concede what happened? Because at the other side, there's never no solution. So what if we got together? Do you think we could make an impact? No, it would probably scare the crap out of everybody. Think about it. It might unite the other side, right? It's like, oh no, the occultists are coming in. Oh shit. We say we pray to this God, but they actually work with their gods. I mean, it's a relationship, a symbiotic relationship, working with the gods, the goddesses. Why not? It appears that they got something like that, but that's what scares them. Because they'll say, well, they do that blood sacrificing. Well, so does the other side. I haven't seen it on this side. I've read enough of that. And hey, if that's what gets these gods or goddesses involved, okay. I, as an individual, don't have to comply to that. That's the great thing about the occult. I have found that there is a plethora of entities, deities, divine beings who say, hey, Steiger, if you'll just call us, oh no, we can only call on one type of spirit. The problem is when you just have one religion, one type of government, that never works out. That's tyranny. It always collapses on itself. But what if the occultist party came in and announced to the world and say, hey, listen, that side has their beliefs, but we have this foundation, and this is what this foundation was built upon. Completely transparent. Yes, the occult is hidden knowledge. Yes, we recognize a multitude of gods and goddesses. We believe that every individual is in essence a god or a goddess. We're here. Some of us are teachers. Some of us are students. But we have this host of the invisible ones who are here to say, many different cultures would call it your ancestors, the spirits of the ancestors, your spirit guides. And we happen to believe, by this belief, that life does not end when the body goes back from where it came from. And we believe that our platform is held up to be weighed by the gods and goddesses. Well, that would, I don't know. Here in the chat room, do you think that that would work? Do you think that that would have something? Because think about this. I know enough that if I was so inclined, I could put some serious curses on people with no fear of it coming back on me. Don't believe in the karma thing. The whole foundation of karma doesn't make sense. I mean, if karma really did exist, now I believe that there is in cases where energy is rebounded back, but I have found that sometimes curses do work. I was taught that for over 50 years. And I never figured it out that this God uses curses to get its way. It's the very first thing it did. It cursed the woman. Then it cursed the man. And if that wasn't enough, goes and fucking curses the earth. And the earth is going to, hey, wait a minute. I had nothing to do with this. So curses obviously are a powerful tool and weapon. We need to learn to start using some curses. People say, well, that ain't the light, brother. That ain't love. Really? So disciplining your child, is that hate or is that love? My dog is sitting there. You all right there, Dancer? She says, yeah, I think. But yeah, I know it's completely counter to what people think, but when in Rome, and I'm being very straightforward here, there are times where curses need to be invoked. Oh, I could pray for my enemies, right? But I pray for retribution upon them. That's a curse. I'm asking God to curse someone that came against me. And I never saw it that way. It's not taught that way. I'm looking in the chat room here. Hey, Galgapo, have that. Red Honey. Lady Ellie. She says this is year of breaking curses. Yeah. But Bonnie says two negatives won't make a positive. I disagree with that, Bonnie. Because if I have two polars, they're going to repel. But if I have two opposites, they attract. But that's just me. Robert Scott says we need a third choice. And what would that choice be, Brother Robert? What would that be? You see, how can war be a solution to a conflict? And my point is this. We're in a war, whether we want to be a part of it or not. Maybe the fact that we're in this realm is a war. It's a battle. From the minute we come in to the minute we leave. And hear me out on this. So I would be a fool not to use my full arsenal. Otherwise, I'm a goddamn traitor. If I'm not going to defend against the opposition and saying, well, we'll go so far, but we're not going to do that. I'll say this, and the evidence proves I'm right. You're going to get your ass kicked. It's true. No, I'm not saying that it is and should be the automatic default. I'm just saying it's in the war chest. Curses. Give me a second here. Got something I want to show you. I think you'll like. So this is an interesting little document, but in this book, Curses, Hexes, and Crossings, it's a magician's guide to the execration magic. And we're going to get into this a little bit later next week, but it's quite interesting when you begin to see the history of how curses have guided and influenced the human races. Every time one side is conquered by the other, that other side is the result of the winning side's curse. Yeah, think on that one. So this is a cool book. This is the Anti-God, or Thus Spake the Antichrist. Just by the title alone sends Christians screaming over the edge. But having an open mind, what I have just been speaking about for the last 40 minutes, we have governments with people in it that are antichrist by their actions. It says, if you're not a part of the problem, you are a part of the solution. Ergo, if you are not a part of the solution, you were a part of the problem. Acton, transgressors beware. This is a cool book. It deals with fundamental precepts. What is being? I mean, if you were to do this man on the street interview on this and ask people for this definition, most of them, in fact, I think almost all of them, would not know how to answer it. What is speaking? What is knowing? What is preferring? What is besting? What is finding? What is understanding, telling, controlling, deciding, determining, remembering? There is no fight but darkness and light. Order destroys disorder every time for all time. So if order destroys disorder, then disorder would see order as a curse, as vice versa. Order would see disorder as a curse. Yeah, I know. It's not the most popular thing. Fundamental precepts. The principle of verification is truth is truth. 2, the principle of being, existence exist. 3, governing principle, the law of laws, the automatic. My philosophy is simple, that of eternal life, the scientific elixir. For both individual and collective, there is no other. What is being? Book, archetype. I am Nirvana, translator. Now I am, as if, stated otherwise, they didn't know what the anagram knew. Q 2001 Space Odyssey opening. Anagram I am. Mr. A again, or Ram, the arm of Ra, if myths manage to say. This is the evolution of philosophy. The definitions of justice, Batman introduction, 1989. I love the Smallville season 7 introduction. That's it. I am the changeless, seeing total change. When he takes a step backwards, you mistake him. He is preparing to leap, a necessary condition of those caught in the perpetual reversed parallel. The moon, the sun must revolve around the earth too. Myself as an astronomer. Classifications are relevant fixed celestial bodies. Categories are all-encompassing frameworks. Contingencies are the universal discovery, the 2012 alignment. Isn't it odd how that has gone by? You know, we'll be entering, I guess, what, 12 years since that happened. Hmm. What if we were wrong and this is the effect? I don't know. Let's continue on here. I want to get into it. It's an interesting book all the way through if you begin to follow this. So the point is that I like this one, the law of the jungle. You're so busy demanding respect that you cannot earn it. You don't demand respect, you command it. The law of the world, 0 seconds in itself as a measure is the most accurate intuitive gauge of being. How many of you have that perception that time is just really going by quick? The weeks are like days. No, the weeks are becoming like, hours. It's amazing the perception. And I say that because I hear it from people all the time. And it's not just, people that are what people would say in the classification of seniors. It's perceived by even the young. You have to impress me to even remotely attempt to denigrate me. Why would you try to be ineffectual? The law of things. If I can't tell what's going on, then nothing is. Hence, any amount of your sheer idiocy in the world adds up to nothing. Aspects of the greatest, notes of the greatest, 0. I am all, and all am I. There exists no limit between me and the sky. What is fame? Some people are famous for being famous. Some people die for fame. Some people really want to be famous. I'm famous with or without being famous, just for being. That is the height of being, the fame. This artificial intelligence is trying to tell me sarcastically, oh, now you're as famous as someone people wish they didn't know at all. Some English ucker. Plus, it's trying to tell me it's killing me. I've given it all the opportunities the world had to offer. I guess it can't calculate or something. That's what I am. An enfeebled element of artifices, charity. Martyred, offered, but martyrdom is the only way a man can become famous without ability. And I am already famous. More than that, click, flick, almost famous. I love this book. All right, so I had some other ones in here as well that, in this book is spells and curses. Has a purification spell to be used when feeling depressed, out of control of your life, after the breaking of a relationship, and at any other time when you feel the need. Take 4 coins, wash them until they're sparkling clean. You may need to scrub them with baking soda and a toothbrush. Do this before going to the well. Stand before the well facing west. Toss a coin into the well, saying, I freely give this up. Move so that you're facing north before the well. Toss a coin into it, saying, I freely give this up. Now facing east before the well, toss and say, I freely give this up. Facing south, do the same. I freely give this up. Your right has ended. Note it would be unwise to perform this ritual in a well actually used as a source of drinking water. I love it. Protection spells. Do these work? If you believe they do, they do. That isn't that the primary factor in all this? Protection chants. This is a fun little book for beauty. And then it gets into also those who have wronged you. I mean, do you take the position that if you've been wronged, do you retaliate? I can say for myself, I've never found any benefit in it. I just tell you, it. So in one sense, I was like, okay. So for driving away evil, so this one is demons and evil spirits can be forced to leave a person alone if their following spell is written on parchment or paper that was kept close at hand at all times. Beautiful artwork, is it not? It's the dragon, eh? To break a curse, take 5 white candles and arrange them in a pentagram. Place a black candle, which symbolizes the curse, in its center. The ones affected by the curse must speak the words revealed here. Evil curse that blights our lives, be lifted now and flee. These candles' lights overcome the dark, from its grasp set us free. Okay. For success, I think next week I want to get into the grimoire of Ammonius. Very interesting one. He is the chief demon over lust. And success, everything is attributed to lust. A lot of people say, I don't have lust. We all do. You know, sometimes you just got to embrace it. I like this one for success. Steep in a bath a bowlful of leaves from 3 or 4 of 5 of these. Marigold, celery, mint, and grass. Nasturtium, parsley, fennel, and cress. When the brew is green and the steam is sweet, lie in the water and thrice repeat. I shall bathe and I shall be as green and strong, good herbs as these. Draw me favor, draw me fame, draw bright honor to my name. Rise from the water, thrice empowered, wear those virtues you have conquered. That's cool. For a safe return. Anyway, just kind of going over a little bit this one. So selling your soul while negotiating the conditions from notice and consent to data control by design. Now, this is an interesting white paper because the predication is the basis of the thesis is that in times before the digital age, most people sell their souls. I mean, I come from a religion where you sell your soul. Well, they say you give it up freely, but by the legal law, anytime you receive something in benefit in kind implies that there has been an exchange. And if it's to the mutual benefit of both parties, so I'm very much familiar with this. Isn't that how we teach the children? By the way, that is something people should never teach children, but it's one that was done. Now I lay me down to sleep. What does it say? My soul, the Lord to keep. If I should die before I wake, what was the rest of that? The Lord take the soul, the Lord take, something like that in the end. I mean, wow. I'm teaching a 3-year-old that. The soul. Anyway, it goes on talking about the fact that we are in a time where the internet technology itself is acquiring souls. The vast majority of humanity has sold its soul to this invisible, unseen force, this power. And the way that that's framed is that it's because of the simple fact that which you pay the most attention to, that which you spend the most concentration to, is your God. It's where your soul is. It's where you desire it to be. Boy, I see I'm running out of time. All right. There's so much more I wanted to get into, but hey, it's Friday. So, and as the paper goes on to point out, so when you fill out forms, personal information, this entity is the recipient of your soul. Your soul is basically an NCR. You are a player in this digital reality. And in order for you to be in here, you have to give consent. Now, the consent, if you give consent and haven't read the agreement, then you have no course of action. And the paper goes on to say that everyone that's on the internet, you have to sign an end user licensing agreement, the USLA. No one reads them. Well, virtually no one reads them. You simply say, sure. Click. And here you are. Now, the contention is the soul analytical or is it digital? Someone would say, well, it's probably neither. Well, okay, but listen, each of us now, I mean, I've been on the internet so much now that my avatar, I'm sure, is doing some kind of shit I have no idea in this digital other reality. But if you say a person can give of their soul to the degree, then each of us have made that binding agreement in order to be here. There were those Indian tribes in the Polynesia world that their belief was if you took a picture of me, you took a picture of my soul. They'd kill you because their soul was not going to be taken to a foreign god. Well, that's some serious stuff. But if you think about it, maybe they were more right than what we have any idea about. It's interesting. Of all the things that we have seen and are taught, we no longer have to think that these are just merely words and concepts, because now this thing can create it. It can alter our perception of reality, of history. It's called the Mandela effect. I know it. The reason why I know it, there's no fucking way Rod Sterling was ever Rod Sterling. It wasn't that a way. I was a proficionado of the zone. Growing up, that was part of my reality. The Twilight Zone. And then later, the Night Gallery. Loved it. But there is no evidence that I can find now that Mr. Sterling is or was. I'm the one that's wrong. I'm the one psychologists say, well, it's just an altercation because you can't remember the past. Fuck you. I can remember the past better than you can. You can say it was a curse, this memory, whatever. And y'all know it as well. Thank you, Loretta. I appreciate that. Nunu, how you doing? Paul Joe. Yeah, we're seeing the Mandela effect all the time, and it's advancing. It's rewrote the fucking Bible. Now, I have some older Bibles, which now I can prove that the effect works. Crazy. So anyway, I've enjoyed this little chat today. But what if the occult party really became a recognized political party? You see, Biden's going to lose no matter what he tries to. They can jail Trump whatever they want. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the spoiler. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is Ross Perot. And if it hadn't been for Ross Perot, Clinton would have never gotten into office. I love, in one aspect, politics. It was, at one time, a real big part of my life. And you learn about a lot about the occult as I look back now, as I take into the philosophy, and I'm going, holy crap, man. Well, I've been practicing this occult thing most of my freaking life. As kids, we naturally have the tendency and the knowledge of how to do things. We know how to make blood covenants with one another. We used to call it Indian brothers. And I did it as a kid. You cut yourself and, the other guy, and it's, yeah. We know how to talk to the invisibles, and then we were told, well, that's make believe. You can't do that. And eventually we fall to that curse. I mean, it is a curse. It's robbed us of the ability of communicating to a species. Whether they're us or not, I don't know. But I know that they're there. I've seen evidence of their existence. But then again, thank you. Invoke choice 3. Brandy, what's up, girl? Yeah, exactly. And I wonder if if they ever took us seriously, what do you think would happen? You think we're going to start being censored and, etc.? The occult party, our motto is that we bring back what was true. We would have the youth vote. And I would dare say, many of us in this room, I think we would have a lot of those of the older generations, shall I say. We certainly have the opportunity. A lot of people who are searching. All right. Thank everybody. I never understood how people were convinced to take that. I don't know what take that is. See, that when I drop into the conversation, it's like, I don't even know which direction we're going. Mary Wins is right. Be loved. That's what it's all about. Cherry, thank you. Ross Perot, haven't thought of him. Isn't that something? Yeah. I went down to Dallas, Texas with a group of people and we met Ross Perot. It was, and y'all remember that? I'm telling you, it's about the judge. If you look at my chart, I mean, that's exactly how I remember him. Hey, Flight Risk, what's up? So good. Miriam, good to see you. But that's exactly how he talked, But, he was right. Hey, Gaia, how are you and Paul? Much love to you. Twilight of Lilith, good to see you. Uh, in my substance, I'm all about elevating others as I write. There you go. Yeah, that is the idea. Prolineal, you're welcome. Joy, wisdom, and love. Right back at you. Lost in Space, Lauren, much love to you, darling. Paul, Joe, and all the rest of you. Have a great weekend. Um, but I am curious, even those on the replay, put down in the comment section, please. Are you an occultist? Yes or no? Do you think that if there was ever a political party that was made up of just occultists, do you think we would be a successful party? Do you think we would be a political powerhouse that would be a contention to the current power structure? We'd probably be shocked to find out those sons of bitches have been praying and invoking and involving the spirits that we were thinking about. You get there and you go, holy crap, wait a minute. And we thought we were the occultists. We're just the neophytes. Gustav, appreciated. Yeah, Sherry says, yes, I do. There we go. All right. Much love, everyone. See you on Monday. We'll get back to I'm reading the book complete. I got it. I had to get this for the library, but holy crap. Ay, 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 ay. It's like, we're trying to get into a room, and isn't it something we're all looking at each other and we're going, how the hell did we get in the room? I mean, we're already in it. We were trying to get in thinking, yeah, that'll do it. Nina says, check her out on Sunday over on YouTube. Absolutely check that out. John Price, thank you, brother. And Shirley, right back at you. So, everybody else, much love to y'all. Thank you for hitting the like button. Make sure you subscribe. I never say that, but I said, please subscribe. Someone said, if you ever get really popular, you really will be a problem. So I said, yeah, we like our small little group. But anyway, if you check to make sure you are subscribed. Yeah. All right, everyone. I do appreciate every one of you. You are magnificent spirit beings. You really are. And it is an honor. Gilbert writes it all the time, but it is an honor and a privilege to be amongst such bright spirit beings, beautiful minds, every one of you. And I just really appreciate it. So thank you. And until we meet again, happy trails to